The Buddha sat calmly beneath the Bodhi tree, surrounded by his disciples, the air humming with quiet anticipation. One disciple, an aspiring merchant, approached the Buddha with sorrow etched deeply on his youthful face. His calm voice transcended the noise, drawing the attention of all present with an air of profound serenity. Imagine a river, its surface stirred by noise, chaos, pollution, he began, gesturing toward the city's restless pulse. My son, the Buddha began, his voice soft yet resonant. What burdens your heart is not wealth, but the fear of losing it. The disciple nodded, his trembling hands clasped as though trying to hold on to the invisible weight of his worries. The Buddha gestured toward the earth, his movements fluid as the natural rhythm of the cosmos unfolding eternally. Observe this earth, the Buddha said. Upon it, seeds sprout, flowers bloom, and fruits fall. Returning to where they came, his disciples leaned closer, drawn in by the gentle cadence of his voice, as though being lulled by celestial truths. Each possession you cherish, the Buddha continued, arises like the flower, ephemeral and beautiful, and will fade as surely. Another disciple, an aging farmer, listened attentively, his hands calloused and lined with years of toil and sacrifice. The Buddha turned his gaze to the farmer. You labor for harvest, yet do you grieve each grain after it is eaten? The farmer shook his head slowly, understanding dawning like sunlight breaking through dense clouds of ignorance. Master, he said hesitantly, I labor with purpose, but I do not cling to what is consumed or fades. The Buddha smiled gently, his face radiant, a reflection of compassion blooming upon fertile ground of understanding. Indeed, the Buddha affirmed, the purpose of wealth is not its possession, but its usage for good and noble deeds. The aspiring merchant furrowed his brow, his thoughts weaving through the intricate fabric of desires entwined with his ambitions. But Master, he asked earnestly, how can I not fear losing what sustains my family, my reputation, my very livelihood? The Buddha raised a hand to calm the turmoil within the young man, his presence soothing like flowing waters. Fear, my son, the Buddha said, is born of attachment. Attachment binds you, making you believe yourself depends on things. A soft murmur spread among the disciples, the weight of his words sinking deep into the soils of their hearts. You are not your possessions, the Buddha continued, his voice as steady as eternal mountains shaped by infinite time. The merchant blinked, his fingers loosening their grip, releasing the invisible chains tethering him to his identity and belongings. The Buddha stood, his robe flowing gracefully, and motioned toward a small bird perched serenely on a nearby branch. Look upon this bird, the Buddha said, with no riches, no hoarded grains, and no fear upon its gentle heart. The merchant studied the bird, its delicate wings quivering slightly, yet it seemed free from all burdens of anxiety. The bird, the Buddha explained, lives in harmony with the rhythm of life, taking only what it needs in the moment. Master, a disciple whispered, can humans live as freely as the bird, unbound by desires and fears, living simply? The Buddha nodded solemnly, his lips curving into an enigmatic smile that invited contemplation rather than instant answers. A human, too, can be free, the Buddha said, but it requires the courage to let go of what weighs upon them. The merchant felt his chest tighten and release, his mind beginning to unravel the knots of fear tied within. But Master, he questioned, if I let go, what remains? Will I not lose purpose, direction, and even happiness? The Buddha turned to him, his expression akin to twilight skies balancing light and shadow with infinite grace. What remains, the Buddha answered, is freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from sorrow, and freedom to act without hesitation. Another disciple, a young artist, listened intently, her hands poised as though ready to weave these truths into her creations. Master, she asked, if we free ourselves from possessions, what is left to inspire the beauty we seek to express? The Buddha chuckled softly, his laughter warm, like early dawn kissing the chill of night with radiant light. Beauty, he said, is born not from possessions, but from the harmony you find within and express outward into the world. The artist nodded, her thoughts weaving threads of possibility, crafting meaning from the depths of her newly awakened understanding. The Buddha knelt beside a small flower, its delicate petals trembling under the whispering breath of the wind. This flower holds no treasures, the Buddha said, yet its essence inspires the universe and fulfills its purpose naturally. The disciples gazed at the flower, their hearts attuned to its simplicity, and their minds unraveled the complexity of longing. The merchant felt his chest lift as though the heavy stones of worldly desires were falling away into the earth. He bent down, picking up a small pebble from the dusty ground, holding it between his thumb and forefinger. See this pebble, Buddha said, his voice calm and clear amidst the surrounding clamor of commerce and conversation. You have begun to understand, my son, the Buddha said, but understanding is but the seed. Practice will bear the fruit. His disciples bowed deeply, their hearts lifting with the lightness of wisdom offered freely upon the pathless path. The Buddha gazed toward the horizon, the sun descending gracefully, its light painting the earth in hues of impermanence. Each day, the Buddha said, is an opportunity to set down what burdens you and walk with clarity toward the truth. The disciples left the gathering, their hearts lighter, their minds clearer, and their feet upon the way of understanding. Another day, another dawn. The disciples gathered around the Buddha as he walked gracefully along the forest path. The morning air carried the scent of dew-drenched leaves, their gentle shimmer catching sunlight like jewels adorning nature's beauty. One vendor shouted, another haggled, children laughed, and animals brayed. Yet the chaos became almost musical, almost harmonious. Silence, Buddha said, is not the absence of sound but the fullness of presence, the depth beneath the surface. Subhuti, the Buddha began. Simplicity is not lack, nor absence, but balance. It is harmony with what exists and what suffices. The disciples listened intently, the sound of their own breathing blending into the symphony of the rustling forest. A villager approached them, his steps hurried yet uncertain, holding out a modest offering of rice for the alms bowls. The Buddha accepted the rice with a gentle bow, his humility radiating as the essence of gratitude for life's gifts. Subhuti furrowed his brows, looking at the small portion of rice placed into his alms bowl with reluctant acceptance. Master, Subhuti said, his voice troubled, she gave so little. Surely more could be spared for those who seek enlightenment. The Buddha's gaze turned to Subhuti, kind but resolute, his presence holding the balance between guidance and introspection. Subhuti, the Buddha said, to measure gifts by their quantity is to misunderstand their value. It is the spirit that matters. The disciples nodded slowly, absorbing the weight of the Buddha's words like rain upon the parched earth of their minds. What we receive, the Buddha continued, is sufficient for the day. A bowl overflowing invites waste. An empty bowl holds hope. Subhuti lowered his gaze, his fingers brushing the rim of the bowl, seeking solace and meaning in its simple design. Another disciple, Ananda, asked earnestly, Master, how does one truly live in simplicity without feeling deprivation or longing? The Buddha gestured to his bowl, his voice flowing like the unbroken rhythm of rivers nourishing the earth's vast expanse. Ananda, the Buddha said, simplicity is not deprivation, nor longing. It is the space within where gratitude blooms effortlessly. His disciples pondered this deeply, their minds connecting the fragments of scattered thoughts to the unity of his teachings. The Buddha knelt beside a stream, its gentle flow mirroring the rhythm of existence with unassuming elegance and steadfast purpose. "Observe this stream," the Buddha said. "It gives life to all, yet claims nothing for itself. Simplicity sustains the beauty of giving." The disciples followed the path of the stream with their eyes, its serene waters speaking truths that words could not convey. The Buddha's voice softened, like the whisper of leaves brushing against the winds of change through the seasons of impermanence. "The bowl we carry," the Buddha explained, "is not a tool of demand but of presence. It teaches the essence of enough." Another disciple, a young monk, asked, "Master, how can we know what is enough in a world of endless desires and ambitions?" The Buddha smiled, his expression filled with compassion like the light embracing the shadows as day awakens and darkness fades. "You know enough," the Buddha answered. "When your heart is unburdened, your mind is peaceful, and your spirit is at ease." The disciples nodded solemnly, their hearts resonating with the simplicity expressed in the clarity of his timeless teachings. The Buddha pointed to a bird in flight, its wings free from encumbrance, soaring high with purpose but without needless weight. "Like the bird," the Buddha said, "you carry only what sustains you, never more than needed to move through life with grace." The disciples watched the bird disappear into the horizon, its absence reminding them of impermanence rather than emptiness. Subhuti glanced at his bowl again, a sense of awe filling him as he embraced its humble yet profound design. "Master," Subhuti said quietly, "the bowl is not just an object. It feels like a symbol of simplicity and balance." The Buddha nodded, his voice calm yet unwavering, as though infinite truths were etched into his every spoken word. "The bowl," the Buddha said, "invites gratitude, holds harmony, and reminds us that life's abundance lies not in excess but in equilibrium." The disciples shared a quiet moment of understanding, their spirits uplifted by the beauty within simplicity's resonance with life's rhythm. The villager bowed deeply, her hands clasped as though offering not just rice, but her heart through humble sincerity. The Buddha returned her gesture, his bow reflecting his acceptance and gratitude. The balance of giving and receiving made perfect. "Master," Ananda said, his voice filled with reverence, "is simplicity itself a path toward freedom from suffering?" The Buddha looked toward the horizon, his gaze steady, holding the expanse of wisdom gathered from countless lifetimes and boundless compassion. "Simplicity," the Buddha answered, "is the path where suffering fades, where desires dissolve, and where freedom arises from clarity and contentment." The disciples contemplated his words as the sunlight began to fade, its last light mingling with shadows cast upon the earth. The Buddha walked toward the setting sun, his footsteps light yet purposeful, as though treading upon the boundless path of truth. "Simplicity," the Buddha said, his voice echoing softly, "reveals the freedom hidden within the depths of existence like jewels hidden in the earth." The disciples followed him, their bowls empty yet full with the teachings poured into the sacred spaces of their hearts. Another day, another lesson. The disciples gathered around the Buddha in a room bare of adornments, serene in its emptiness. "From this rooftop," Buddha said, "we see the city differently. Its urgency diminishes, revealing its place within the greater whole." The disciples nodded, their perspectives shifting as they viewed the city not as overwhelming but as an intricate part of life. "Ananda," the Buddha said, "this room mirrors life itself. Its emptiness invites clarity, free from distractions that clutter the heart." The disciples leaned closer, their minds attuned to his voice, each word unraveling layers of meaning embedded within their existence. "Master," Subhuti asked earnestly, "does emptiness not create loneliness, leaving us searching for meaning in barren spaces?" The Buddha's gaze shifted, his eyes like deep pools reflecting truths hidden beneath the surface of conscious understanding. Subhuti, he said calmly. Emptiness is not loneliness, but fullness undisguised. It holds space for insight and the presence of truth. The disciples exchanged contemplative glances, absorbing the profound simplicity shaping the rhythm of their learning and their growing understanding. The Buddha gestured to the bare walls, their muted tones reflecting the light from a single lamp flickering in gentle steadiness. These walls, he began, are void of adornments, yet within them lies the potential to hold the thoughts you bring. Ananda furrowed his brow, his thoughts meandering like a stream seeking clarity within the forest of uncertainty within his mind. Your reflection is but a fragment, Tissa, the Buddha explained, his tone steady like a calm stream. It reveals what is on the surface, but beneath lies the depths of your being. Emptiness invites you to reflect inward and beyond. The disciples sat in silence, their thoughts merging into the boundless expanse of unspoken truths stirred within the empty room. The Buddha rose, his movement fluid like water, his presence grounding as he knelt beside a solitary stone upon the floor. Look at this stone, the Buddha said. The sun climbed higher, its light breaking through the leaves, scattering golden rays over the listening crowd. The Buddha turned to the group, his voice resonant yet soft. This stone, the Buddha continued, does not crave decoration, yet its simplicity reveals the beauty hidden within its bare essence. One disciple, a young monk, touched the stone gently, his fingertips grazing its surface as if uncovering the wisdom buried within. Master, the monk said softly, does the room teach us that life is meant to be devoid of all forms of beauty? The Buddha chuckled warmly, his laughter like the light breeze brushing against leaves swaying to the rhythm of timeless existence. No, the Buddha answered. The room teaches that beauty resides within you, not within objects. Emptiness reflects the fullness of your spirit. The disciples nodded slowly, their hearts opening to the simplicity that welcomed them into the vastness of unadorned truths. The Buddha gestured for them to rise, his movements as natural as the cycle of seasons unfolding without effort or disturbance. Walk with me, he said. Embrace the emptiness of the room and carry its lessons into the spaces beyond. The disciples followed him through the monastery, their steps light yet intentional, as though treading upon the fabric of existence. The Buddha paused before an open field, its expanse untouched, inviting infinite possibilities within the quiet vastness of its simplicity. Master, another disciple asked hesitantly, what can we learn from the emptiness of this field that stretches endlessly before us? The Buddha swept his hand across the horizon, his gesture encompassing both the visible and the unseen within the boundless. This field, he said, is like the room. It holds no distractions, yet it offers space for life to flourish freely. The disciples watched as the wind brushed across the grasses, their gentle sway mirroring the movement of presence without attachment. Life, the Buddha explained, finds balance in the spaces it inhabits. Emptiness welcomes harmony, making room for the fullness of existence. Ananda knelt, his hands brushing the blades of grass, his heart swelling with gratitude for the simplicity that revealed truth. Master, Ananda said quietly, I see now that emptiness is not absence but the space where meaning and purpose emerge naturally. The Buddha smiled, his presence radiant like the sun casting light upon every corner of the earth without judgment or exclusion. Indeed, Ananda, he said, emptiness invites you to fill it with clarity, compassion, and the peace that resides within your heart. The disciples remained silent, the beauty of his teachings resonating deeply within their spirits. Filling the emptiness with understanding, the Buddha returned to the room, its simplicity unchanged yet imbued with the echoes of wisdom shared within its quiet presence. Reflect upon this room, the Buddha said. Its emptiness is not meant to be filled but cherished for what it allows. His disciples bowed deeply, their hearts lighter, their spirits elevated, and their minds awakened to the harmony within emptiness. The Buddha gazed at the lamp, its flame steady, illuminating the room without excess, offering light without demanding anything in return. The flame, he said, teaches balance. Much like the room, in simplicity lies the essence of what sustains life's beauty. The disciples sat in silence, their breaths steady, their hearts attuned to the profound teachings flowing seamlessly through the empty room. Another day, another truth. The Buddha's teachings filled their spirits, lifting them beyond the boundaries of what was visible. As twilight deepened, the disciples reflected on the interconnected lessons of mindfulness, compassion, and joy shared by their revered teacher. Buddha's presence radiated a serene wisdom, guiding his followers toward a life rich in flourishing and harmonious existence. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.